Why did Casey Neistat fire Dan Mace as his video editor?
I can't tell you how excited I am to finally have Dan here, like a true creative partner.
He tried to make it work, okay? He had basically wrapped up this long-standing effort to do his daily vlog series, and he was starting a new daily vlog series for this company he had started, 368.
When I did the vlog, I would shoot all day, edit all night, post the next morning. That worked. For 368 though, I shoot all day, I edit all night, and then the next morning, instead of posting, I give that edit to Dan.
So he took Dan and he hired him from South Africa.
And I moved him from South Africa to New York
as his editor to create this daily vlog series.
Now this is all theory, and we've only done 2 edits so far. And
it's really complicated.
They both are disasters.
And in thinking about this question, what I arrived at was this idea of artistic delegation. Can an artist effectively delegate their work to somebody else and still have it be their work, their art?
After 2 weeks, I was like, this is taking 10 times as long and the videos are half as good. Like, you're completely fired.
Most of the time we think of delegation as this sort of operational decision. But in this case, it's really a creative decision. And I think the framework that explains this best actually comes from an unexpected place: conceptual art. So what is conceptual art? I want to define it, and I'm not the person to be defining this. I don't know that I'm actually qualified to be talking about any of this shit, but I find it interesting, so I'm going to keep going. And so I'm just going to read you Sol LeWitt's definition of conceptual art. He says, in conceptual art, the idea or concept is the most important aspect of the work. When an artist uses a conceptual form of art, it means that all of the planning and decisions are made beforehand, and the execution is a perfunctory affair. The idea becomes a machine that makes the art. Okay, so to think about this in these terms, I want to propose 3 different artists working with 3 different concepts and 3 totally different relationships to delegation. And I also just got to say, like, I don't know that Casey thinks of himself as an artist in this way, but that's how I'm framing it for the sake of this. And so I think about this spectrum of delegation. And basically what this is artists who delegate nothing going to artists who delegate everything. And their conceptual art is basically what determines whether or not they can delegate. Let's dive deeper into this.
Andy, do you feel that the public has insulted your art?
No.
Okay, so this is a little bit open for interpretation, but Andy Warhol's concept, in essence, was himself, that the artist was the art, okay? A walking, talking, breathing piece of, concept art. But the concept underneath it was, if I present myself publicly in this way and I develop this persona of the artist, then I'm creating this sort of artist brand, or what he called the business artist. And I'll read, and this is how he quoted it. Business art is the step that comes after art. I started as a commercial artist, and I want to finish as a business artist. Being good in business is the most fascinating kind of art. During the hippie era, people put down the idea of business. They'd say money is bad and working is bad, but making money is art and working is art. And good business is the best art. Another way of thinking about this idea of like business art, or Andy Warhol being the business artist, was that he turned himself into a brand. Warhol called his studio the factory, and he actually was able to produce over 20,000 different prints coming out of that factory. And what he would do is he would hire assistants, right? And these didn't need to be artists. They could be artists in their own right, or oftentimes they were just like interesting people that he knew. But he could basically bring a poet off the street and turn them into somebody who could come into the factory and pull a silk screen and basically create a piece of art that sold later on for $195 million. Like, that actually happens. Just to dig into this a little bit deeper when it comes to the idea of the factory, this is directly from the Warhol website, warhol.org, and it's basically about his screen printing process. Basically what it's exhibiting here is this series of prints that he did called the Flower Series. And I'm just gonna read straight from the website because I think it's great. About the art. Andy Warhol turned to his most notable style, photographic silkscreen printing in 1962. This commercial process allowed him to easily reproduce the images that he appropriated from pop culture. Warhol's Flower Series is a portfolio of 10 screen prints and hundreds of paintings based off of photographs taken by Patricia Clawfield, which were featured in the June 1964 issue of Modern Photography magazine. So after selecting the image, Warhol sent these to a commercial silkscreen maker, with a note as to the desired dimensions of the screen and the number of colors to be printed. After the image was exposed and the screen was prepared for printing, it was returned to the factory, Warhol's New York City studio. The photographic silkscreen printing process created a precise and defined image and allowed Warhol and his assistants to mass produce a large number of prints with relative ease. While Warhol didn't invent the photographic silkscreen process, he developed his own technique by combining hand-painted backgrounds with photographic silkscreen printed images to create unique works of art. Okay, and then I love this quote. "The reason I'm painting this way is that I want to be a machine." And then another quote here. "I tried doing them by hand, but I find it easier to use the screen. This way, I don't have to work on my objects at all. One of my assistants, or anyone else for that matter, can reproduce the design as well as I could." And so of these 20,000 pieces of Andy Warhol art, many of them he didn't produce himself at all. He didn't touch them. These were mass produced at scale, essentially. But because they were his brand, they were still authentically his art. So what this means for delegation. As the business artist, Andy Warhol delegated everything intentionally. The detachment from the work was the point. And so all these assistants at the factory, they weren't hidden labor, they were part of the concept. This is Tom Sachs. Casey actually worked in Tom's studio along with his brother Van. Van actually did a lot of work at the studio, and you can actually see Tom's influence on both Van and Casey. Okay, here's how Tom Sachs defines conceptual art, because I think it's helpful.
Conceptual art, where artists had made everything they could think of, and they didn't know what to do anymore, so they started to make art with rules. It wasn't so much about the materials, but about the rules so that they could make art within those rules. Sport is an exercise with rules. Art is an exercise in rules. In a performance piece or a piece of conceptual art, it's about the experience. And the value in this is discipline, is in long-term consistency, showing how you can really build something.
So Tom's big concept was the studio. He even says in his book, he said, "The studio is the greatest work of art I've ever made." And the studio operates under strict, explicit rules, or what they call the code.
The studio is a complex and enigmatic working environment full of precise rules and principles. We call these rules and principles the code.
So like the studio itself is a work of conceptual art, totally outside of all of the actual objects that it produces. So Sachs codified his studio's philosophy into a film called 10 Bullets. The very first bullet is work to code.
Working to code means adhering to the system of production already in place. Arbitrary decision-making and personal inventiveness are discouraged.
The principle that everyone in the studio must follow the rules Sachs has laid out. Not interpret them, not improve them, just follow them.
Follow this guide carefully, and you probably won't be fired.
He even says, creativity is the enemy. This sounds counterintuitive for an art studio, but that's the point. The system is the art. Individual creative expression from assistants would actually corrupt the work. So what does this mean for delegation? Sachs can delegate extensively because he's delegating to a system, not to individual judgment. The rules are the artist. If you follow them, the work is authentically Tom Sachs. If you deviate, it isn't, no matter how good your idea was. So when somebody works in the studio, they're not just helping Tom make stuff, they're actively participating and performing in the artwork by following the code. So there's no tension between, oh, Sachs made this and his assistants made this. The whole point is that the studio, the system, the culture, the transmission of method is the thing that Sachs authored in the first place. And the work and the objects that come out of it are almost like artifacts or byproducts of this initial conceptual piece of art that he created, which is the studio. So Casey's big concept was his daily vlog series, and that led into the 368 vlog series. And the rules around that, the sort of concept around it was post every single day without fail.
800. That's how many days in a row I uploaded a video for my daily vlog.
And the value in this is discipline, is in long-term consistency, showing how you can really build something.
The vlog isn't the actual product. The process of making it is the product. That's what the art is. The process is where the art happens. Unlike Warhol or Sachs, Casey's concept is process dependent. The execution isn't perfunctory, it's the entire point. So what does this mean for delegation? Casey could have Dan Mace edit. He even says it himself.
Dan Mace is a better filmmaker than me in every capacity. He's a better storyteller. He's a better narrative filmmaker. He's a better technical filmmaker. He's an incredible filmmaker.
But it's not an operational decision. It's a creative one. Because if Casey didn't make them, they wouldn't be a Casey Neistat vlog anymore. They would be something else.
Will 368 be entirely edited by Casey, or will other creators upload their content? The mission is about a space and is about collaboration, but 368, this is my series. So, you know, I love collaborating with people like Dan, and in the future, there'll be other collaborations, but 368, the series will always be my series.
So the constraint here isn't operational, it's definitional. The reason Casey is not delegating isn't because of a practical limitation. Like, it's not like him saying, you know, I can't delegate this because I don't have budget, or I can't find somebody skilled enough. A definitional constraint is different. It's saying, if I delegate this, it stops being the thing it claims to be. The work's identity depends on him doing the work in that process. Delegating would change what the work fundamentally is. Delegation is a creative choice, not an operational one. Warhol's concept requires delegation. The detachment is the statement. Sachs' concept enables delegation through systematic code following. And Casey's concept resists delegation because process is the point. So what are my takeaways here? If your work is process dependent like Casey, delegation might genuinely compromise it. And that's a valid creative choice, not a failure of leadership. If your concept is the system itself, like Sachs, then hoarding the work defeats the purpose. The whole point of building a system is that it runs without you. You know, lastly, if you're building a brand like Warhol, your taste and claim become the art. You can delegate execution entirely, as long as you're able to retain the ability and authority to curate what is labeled as yours, what is your brand. Okay, so why did Casey Neistat fire Dan Mace? So there's no correct level of delegation. It's not universal. It's not about whether, you know, it's efficient or scalable. It's just simply about what your concept demands. Casey didn't fire Dan because delegation is inherently bad. He fired him because, for him, delegation is a category error. The vlog wasn't simply concept to be optimized. It was a daily practice that required him to make it.
Like, I couldn't have had a better partner, and I still failed miserably. I don't like it. I love being alone, like just myself sitting there staring and figuring it out.
Okay, that's all I got on this. I know it's kind of, I probably read into it way too much, but it was just helpful for me to think about for a little bit and put it out there. I don't know, where do you fall on this spectrum? Are you a brand, a system, a process? Something to think about. That's all I got. Bye.